One moment of misplaced trust, one harmless joke gone wrong. That's all it took to turn innocent pranks into the 6 most disturbing betrayals of all time. These aren't just tragic accidents from risky stunts. They're reminders that the people closest to you can become your deadliest threat. It was January 15th, 2022, when a winter afternoon in suburban Minneapolis turned deadly over what should have been a harmless social media stunt. Roscoe Lane, a 19-year-old college sophomore studying business, had returned home for winter break to spend time with his family. Known for his easygoing nature and willingness to help others, Roscoe often indulged his younger brother Tyler's creative projects. Tyler, 16, was an aspiring content creator who spent most of his free time filming videos for his small but growing social media following. The temperature had dropped to -12 degrees Fahrenheit that afternoon, with overcast skies casting a gray pallor over the snow-packed neighborhood. The concrete patio behind their family home was covered in a thick layer of ice and snow, creating treacherous conditions that would prove fatal. Wind gusts occasionally swept across the exposed backyard, adding to the harsh winter atmosphere. Tyler had been planning an ice bucket challenge video, but with a twist he claimed would make it safer and more comfortable. He assured his older brother they would use warm water and film inside their heated garage, making it completely harmless despite the brutal winter conditions outside. Tyler had spent days researching different video angles and lighting setups to make the content more engaging for his audience. However, Tyler had secretly prepared a different setup. He filled a 5-gallon metal bucket with near-freezing water and suspended it from a deck beam approximately 12 feet above the patio, using a rope with a quick-release mechanism. The total weight of the water and metal container exceeded 40 pounds. When it came time to film, Tyler convinced Roscoe to step outside briefly, claiming they needed better lighting for the video while maintaining his assurances about safety. Trusting his younger brother completely, Roscoe agreed to the change in location. Tyler positioned his brother on a marked spot directly beneath the suspended bucket and instructed him to close his eyes for a dramatic countdown. The phone camera captured everything that followed. When Tyler pulled the release rope, the knot slipped unevenly, and because the rope had been tied slightly off-center on the handle, the bucket swung forward in a short arc before dropping. The metal corner struck Roscoe directly in the left temple, while the frigid water hit him simultaneously. The video showed the bucket rotating as it fell, which caused the corner to make the first point of contact. The impact generated a sharp metallic sound, captured clearly on the recording, followed by the thud of Roscoe's body hitting the patio. Roscoe collapsed backward onto the concrete patio, his breathing becoming shallow as blood appeared at his scalp, details visible on the recording. Responders later noted that Roscoe's clothing had already stiffened with ice in the sub-zero air. The combination of near-freezing water and -12 degrees Fahrenheit wind gusts created rapid conductive heat loss, which paramedics documented on their initial assessment. Emergency responders arrived within 8 minutes of Tyler's frantic call. Paramedics found Roscoe unconscious, with a severely depressed level of consciousness and signs of significant head trauma. His core temperature was already falling by the time paramedics assessed him, consistent with the rapid heat loss noted earlier in the call. Roscoe was rushed to a nearby trauma center, where CT scans revealed a temporal bone fracture with intracranial hemorrhaging. Despite aggressive treatment, his condition continued to deteriorate over the following hours. 3 hours after the accident, Roscoe Lane was pronounced dead from his injuries. The coroner's official report listed the cause of death as blunt force head trauma, with hypothermia noted as a contributing factor. Investigators closed the case as an accidental death based on the evidence documented in the phone video. What began as a brother's trust in a seemingly harmless prank had ended in tragedy, demonstrating how quickly good intentions can turn deadly when safety is compromised for entertainment. It was July 4th, 2015, when a 4th of July pool party in Phoenix turned into a nightmare that would claim the life of someone who trusted her friends completely. Tess Sinclair, a 25-year-old marketing professional, had always been adventurous and embraced life with infectious enthusiasm. She had been swimming competitively since childhood and felt completely at home in the water. Tess worked for a local advertising agency, and was known among colleagues for her creative energy and positive attitude that made her popular in both professional and social settings. The evening temperature held steady at 89 degrees under clear Arizona skies, perfect for the backyard celebration. The residential pool featured underwater lighting in the deep end, which measured 8 feet, while the shallow end provided a 3-foot depth. The homeowner had recently installed new LED lighting systems that created an inviting ambiance for evening gatherings. Tess's friend group had planned what they considered a harmless surprise, using a remote-controlled device designed to look like a shark fin, thinking it would create a fun scare followed by laughter. What made this situation particularly dangerous was the information the friends possessed but failed to share. Earlier text messages revealed their awareness of a significant safety issue with the pool's main drain system. The group also knew the pool operated with a single main drain, rather than a safer dual drain system. The drain cover had developed cracks, but repairs had been postponed. The cracks had widened to the point where several plastic slats were partially detached, leaving exposed edges capable of catching hair. Despite knowing about this hazard, the friends repeatedly assured Tess that the pool had been recently serviced and was completely safe for swimming. They encouraged her to take laps before the fireworks display. Tess entered the water with complete confidence, trusting her friends' assurances. She began swimming laps with practice strokes from years of competitive swimming. The friends activated their remote-controlled fin device, sending it gliding toward Tess from behind. When she noticed the approaching fin during her backstroke, her natural reaction was to dive underwater to avoid the apparent threat. In her dive, Tess angled toward the deep-end wall, unknowingly passing directly over the compromised main drain. The powerful suction created by the pool's circulation system created a deadly trap. Tess's long hair became entangled in the broken drain cover, holding her underwater despite her swimming expertise. Investigators later confirmed that the active circulation pump created enough suction at the compromised drain to trap her hair. Her friends realized something had gone wrong when she failed to resurface. 2 jumped into the pool while another ran to shut off the circulation pump. Even after the pump stopped, her hair remained knotted in the broken slats, preventing her from rising to the surface. Phone video timestamps revealed that approximately 60 seconds had elapsed before they could free her hair. When they brought Tess to the surface, she was cyanotic and unresponsive. The group immediately began CPR while calling emergency services. Emergency technicians arrived within 7 minutes and managed to restore a pulse after multiple resuscitation cycles. Tess was rushed to a nearby regional medical center where doctors worked to address the severe oxygen deprivation. Despite medical efforts, Tess never regained consciousness. She remained on life support for 6 days before her family made the difficult decision to let her go. The official cause of death was drowning with anoxic brain injury. Investigation revealed the friends' knowledge about the pool's dangerous condition. City inspectors cited multiple violations, including the non-compliant single main drain and damaged cover. Text evidence documented how the friends had assured Tess of safety while knowing about the serious hazard. The family filed a wrongful death lawsuit for failure to warn about known dangers. What began as a harmless holiday prank became a tragic reminder that concealing safety hazards can have fatal consequences when trust is betrayed. It was November 11th, 2016, when what should have been a peaceful solo hike in the Colorado foothills became a deadly test orchestrated by family deception. Beckett Stone, a 31-year-old environmental consultant, had built his reputation on careful risk assessment and methodical planning. His colleagues respected his ability to navigate complex outdoor projects, and he approached wilderness activities with the same systematic mindset. Beckett had been hiking these trails near Boulder for over a decade. He specialized in environmental impact assessments for construction projects and was known throughout the industry for his thorough documentation and safety protocols. The afternoon weather presented typical late autumn challenges, with overcast skies and a temperature of 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Light snow had begun falling, gradually reducing visibility across the mixed rock and scrub landscape. Weather forecasts had predicted worsening conditions throughout the evening, making it important to complete any outdoor activities quickly. Connor, Beckett's younger brother, who worked as an emergency communications coordinator, had contacted him earlier that week with what he described as an important request. Connor explained that the local search and rescue team needed to conduct a training exercise and required an experienced hiker to serve as a practice subject. Connor assured Beckett that the exercise would be completely controlled and safe. emphasizing that his outdoor experience made him perfect for the training scenario. He provided specific instructions about where to position himself and how to signal the aircraft. What Beckett didn't realize was that Connor had fabricated the entire training exercise story. Instead of coordinating with search and rescue teams, Connor had placed a genuine emergency call to dispatch services, using Beckett's name and location to report a hiker in distress. When Beckett heard the helicopter approaching, he followed Connor's detailed instructions without question. Trusting his brother's assurances about safety protocols, he climbed onto an exposed rock formation that provided clear visibility for the aircraft crew. The outcrop was a weathered ledge, approximately 12 to 15 feet above the main trail, with loose talus and unstable rock formations scattered above it. Among the loose debris was a large slab positioned directly above the ledge where Beckett stood. Under normal circumstances, his experience would have made him more cautious, but Connor's instructions had directed him to gain the highest visible position. The helicopter crew, unaware of any scheduled training exercise, treated the situation as a legitimate emergency response. They began a careful approach to assess the reported victim's condition. As the aircraft maneuvered into position, additional air disturbance swept across the already unstable slope above Beckett's position. Investigators later determined that the helicopter's rotor wash intensified existing slope instability, contributing to a large slab of rock weighing approximately 200 pounds breaking free. The boulder broke free just as Beckett shifted his weight to descend, striking him before he could move out from beneath the overhanging rock. The massive rock pinned his torso against the formation, causing immediate and catastrophic internal injuries. Nearby hikers witnessed the rock fall and contacted emergency services, while the helicopter crew radioed in the accident. Ground rescue personnel reached Beckett using technical rope systems, but his injuries made any intervention impossible. He was pronounced dead at the scene from massive crush injuries. Investigation revealed Connor's deception through dispatch records. No training exercise had been scheduled, and Connor's false emergency report had directly led to his brother's death. Connor was arrested and charged with felony false reporting and criminally negligent homicide. Beckett's death served as a tragic reminder that manipulating emergency services can create the very dangers they're designed to prevent. It was December 14th, 2019. The Montana wilderness had transformed into a frozen wasteland where heavy snowfall reduced visibility to mere yards and temperatures had dropped to minus 23 degrees Fahrenheit. The nearest hospital lay 45 miles away on treacherous mountain roads. Peter Romano had earned a reputation for staying steady when everything went wrong. The 34-year-old paramedic stood 6 feet 1 inch with the solid build of someone accustomed to life or death situations. Peter had taken a rare week off to help his uncle renovate an old barn. His cousin Derek possessed a restless energy that never seemed satisfied. The 31-year-old freelance videographer had been struggling to build his client base, constantly chasing the next big opportunity. Derek had convinced himself that high-drama medical videos could go viral and generate advertising revenue. The plan Derek had crafted seemed brilliant. He would stage a fake medical emergency using Peter as an unwitting subject, creating dramatic content that would launch his career. During their break, Peter swallowed his early afternoon dose of antiarrhythmic heart medication, something he rarely talked about. That afternoon, Derek prepared coffee for both of them. What Peter didn't know was that Derek had secretly mixed 30 grams of activated charcoal powder into his cup, disguising it as a health supplement. Derek assured his cousin it was completely safe. Peter, trusting his family completely, consumed the entire cup while they discussed their progress. The bitter taste seemed normal for what Derek had described as a detox blend. About 30 minutes later, Peter felt a wave of cramping, nausea, and lightheadedness. Right when his medication should have been taking effect, Derek immediately began filming, feigning concern while secretly documenting what he believed would be valuable footage. But Derek had made a catastrophic miscalculation. The massive dose of activated charcoal began binding to essential medications in Peter's system. Because Peter had taken his medication only minutes earlier, the charcoal bound to it before it could be absorbed. His medical training immediately recognized the symptoms of serious arrhythmias developing. He instructed Derek to call 911 immediately. Derek, still convinced this was part of his planned scenario, continued filming instead of seeking help. He assured Peter that the symptoms were temporary. Peter's condition deteriorated with terrifying speed as his cardiac medication was completely neutralized. His heart rhythm became increasingly erratic, and he collapsed on the barn floor, going into full cardiac arrest, while Derek finally realized his entertainment had become a genuine emergency. The 911 call came too late. The remote location and severe weather meant the nearest ambulance was 45 minutes away. Derek attempted CPR based on Peter's instructions, but his lack of training made his efforts ineffective. When emergency responders finally arrived, they found Peter in complete cardiac arrest. Despite advanced life support measures, he was pronounced dead at the regional medical center. The medical examiner determined that death resulted from cardiac arrhythmia caused by the sudden withdrawal of essential heart medication due to activated charcoal absorption. Derek's own video footage provided investigators with complete documentation, and prosecutors secured an involuntary manslaughter conviction that resulted in a multi-year prison sentence. Peter Romano, who had dedicated his career to saving others during medical emergencies, died because someone he trusted had weaponized his own medical vulnerability for social media fame. It was March 8, 2016, when a birthday surprise on a dark California highway became a fatal case of deception gone wrong. Indigo Reed, a hard-working 22-year-old warehouse employee, had just finished another late shift at a distribution center outside Bakersfield. Known for her reliability and cautious nature, Indigo always took the same route home along quiet rural roads. She had worked at the facility for nearly 3 years and was respected by supervisors for her consistent performance and attention to detail. Her 3 roommates had been planning what they believed would be an unforgettable birthday surprise. They wanted to create something memorable that would make for great content and give her an adrenaline rush. The group had been living together for over 18 months and considered themselves close friends who enjoyed elaborate celebrations and social media documentation. The plan involved staging a fake personal safety scenario. The roommates told Indigo that a local security company was offering free educational demonstrations to young women, emphasizing how completely safe and controlled the experience would be. They assured her it was a legitimate service designed to teach defensive driving. What Indigo didn't know was that no security company existed. Her roommates had recruited Marcus, an acquaintance who did amateur theater, to play a would-be attacker. They chose an isolated stretch of 2-lane highway for the demonstration, far from witnesses. The location was deliberately remote, surrounded by farmland with minimal street lighting, creating what the roommates believed would be a harmless scare, followed by laughter. As Indigo drove through the darkness, she spotted a masked figure stepping near the road shoulder. Marcus raised what appeared to be a handgun. Investigators later confirmed it was an airsoft replica with the orange tip removed. He was positioned near the left edge of the roadway, partially stepping toward Indigo's lane. Despite prior assurances about safety, Indigo's survival instincts took over. The scenario felt too real, and her cautious personality made her assume the worst. Rather than stopping as expected, she pressed the accelerator and jerked the steering wheel right. Her vehicle left the asphalt at approximately 45 miles per hour, skidding along gravel before striking a concrete drainage culvert. The front passenger side wheel hit the concrete lip of the culvert, initiating the rollover. The car rolled multiple times before coming to rest upside down in a shallow irrigation ditch. Marcus immediately called emergency services, explaining that what appeared to be a real emergency had actually been a planned demonstration gone wrong. When first responders arrived, they found Indigo trapped in the inverted vehicle, unresponsive despite deployed airbags. The windshield had spiderwebbed from impact, and the roof was partially crushed. According to the fire rescue report, extrication required hydraulic tools and took more than 40 minutes. Despite paramedic efforts, Indigo showed no signs of breathing and could not be revived. The coroner's examination revealed Indigo had suffered a cervical spine fracture with complete spinal cord transection, causing immediate death at impact. Investigators recovered text messages between roommates that documented their deception about the supposed security company. The Highway Patrol's collision report attributed the loss of control to an evasive maneuver under perceived threat. Prosecutors pursued involuntary manslaughter charges, along with additional counts related to the staged threat. and the use of a replica firearm. What the roommates intended as a memorable birthday surprise became a tragic reminder of how quickly perceived threats can turn deadly, even when the danger is entirely fabricated. It was September 22, 2018, when a routine evening at a downtown Portland office building turned into a deadly mechanical nightmare orchestrated by misplaced trust. Holden Miller, a 28-year-old technology specialist, was known for his methodical approach and dedication to completing projects properly. That evening, he was wrapping up critical server maintenance in the 15-story building. Holden had been employed with the company for over 4 years and was considered one of their most reliable technical staff members. The building dates back to the 1960s, featuring an aging elevator system with traditional swing door landings. Most employees had left for the day, leaving the corridors quiet. The vintage architecture required constant maintenance and careful handling. Jake, a facilities coordinator, had developed what he considered an elaborate but harmless prank. Jake possessed a mischievous personality and enjoyed creating scenarios that would startle co-workers. Earlier that day, Jake told Holden that the elevator system had just undergone a comprehensive safety inspection and was operating at peak performance. He emphasized how recent maintenance made the elevators exceptionally safe. What Holden didn't realize was that Jake had accessed the machine room without authorization and manipulated the elevator controls. Building logs would later reveal no safety inspection had occurred, and Jake had deliberately bypassed critical door safety circuits. When Holden called for an elevator to return to the ground floor, everything initially seemed normal. The car arrived promptly and functioned as expected during descent from the 12th floor. However, as the elevator approached the 8th floor, Jake's tampering had defeated the mechanical door interlock, leaving the landing door unlocked. When Holden arrived, it stood slightly ajar, giving the appearance that the car was properly aligned. Through the intercom system, Jake announced what he claimed was a routine diagnostic test. He advised Holden that if the elevator floor appeared close to landing level, he could carefully step out to avoid inconvenience. Trusting Jake's earlier assurances about safety, Holden observed that the landing threshold appeared only a few inches below the car's floor level. The gap seemed manageable. The dim corridor lighting made the drop appear smaller than it was. As Holden attempted to step from the elevator to the landing, Jake's unauthorized modifications caused the car to make an unexpected movement of approximately 18 inches. The sudden shift created a dangerous shearing situation at the doorway. As the car shifted downward, Holden's lower body became caught between the car sill and the landing threshold, creating a crushing shearing force. The downward motion forced him off balance, causing him to slip beneath the threshold and fall into the shaft pit. Emergency responders worked for over an hour to safely extract Holden from the shaft while ensuring the elevator system was secured. Despite rapid response and professional medical care, Holden was pronounced dead from severe blunt force trauma and internal injuries caused by compression and fall. Investigation by state elevator inspectors revealed the full extent of Jake's unauthorized tampering with safety systems. Control logs and security footage confirmed Jake had defeated multiple safety interlocks. Prosecutors charged Jake with involuntary manslaughter due to criminal negligence and unauthorized access to building safety systems. Holden's death served as a stark reminder that workplace pranks involving safety equipment can have catastrophic results, regardless of intentions. Thanks for watching. Want to see more? Click on your screen now.